Sorry, we're closed.
All right, another episode. Sorry, we're closed. Starting off with two athlete comments.
Comments?
Comments, yes. Moving my camera here. Two athletes' comments. One, I believe, was today or at some point last night or something. And the other was, obviously, everyone's talking about Phil Mickelson. Philly, baby.
Phil has crossed the line.
So, now, Sean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I have the quote here in front of me that I think everyone's pretty upset about.
Phil?
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, it's about the Saudi-backed golf league.
I know the quote, and it is abominable.
Okay, so is it with Kasaji and all? I don't know if that's how
Can you just say the quote?
Okay. They're scary to get involved with. We know they killed Kasahaji, who I know is the reporter, and have a horrible record with human rights. They execute people over there for being gay. Knowing all of this, why would I even consider it? Because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to reshape the PGA Tour, how the PGA Tour operates.
I mean, that is. I mean,
It's tough.
I don't know how he. What was the context that he said this in? Like, was it in an interview?
He claims that it was off-the-record comments.
I saw that, and it was taken out of context.
He
He better have been wearing a clown suit while he was saying that.
And shared,
which we know is complete garbage. That was not off the record. It was unlikely taken out of context.
Yes.
How do you take that out of context?
I don't really know.
I love Phil, but that is brutal.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to consider the Saudi-backed golf league, just say the last sentence. That's it.
You got to ignore the other stuff.
You have to ignore the other stuff. You can't say that I'm going to be okay with human right problems.
It was almost like a joke.
Yeah, I'm okay with all of these things, terrible things they've done because,
golf. Listen, I understand a lot of these atrocities to the human race.
Yeah,
but this is golf we're talking about here. I'm trying to hit a white ball all the way down there into that small hole now, okay? Golf.
Yeah, and I love Phil. Let's put that on record.
KPMG already dropped him.
I know. They dropped him. I saw.
He's rattled right now. He already issued his apology.
Yep, he's taking a step back, I think, from golf for a little bit.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but no one's playing right now.
He was finishing like 78th in tournaments last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating. It's not frustrating. It's sad to see to a guy that I've really enjoyed watching.
He's also like one of the especially after last year's major championship win. Like he's one of the few guys that people really like. A lot of people really get behind. It's hard to get behind a Brooks Koepka.
Yeah, he's bringing personality
or Dustin Johnson. Yeah, he really
personality
does
to the sport.
And now he's tainted.
Yeah, I know.
But
I mean,
golf.
He'll be back. I think he comes back.
Is he resilient?
I think he's resilient. This
he does. Let me ask this though: Does he go to the Saudi league now, or is that over?
No, that's over. You can't go to the Saudi league.
Is the Saudi league effectively toast now?
Yes, the Saudi league probably just upset with this quote as anyone else. They have no chance.
No, Phil, you don't say that.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, it's as bad as it gets. It's not as bad as it gets. There could be worse quotes, but this is really bad. But he comes back. There's no way he doesn't come back.
How long will it take?
He's playing this year.
Well, he's definitely playing this year.
Yeah.
Well, we need one Tiger Woods appearance, and nobody cares that Phil said anything anymore.
Exactly. I think if this is a bad quote, but people love a good comeback.
I will say he'll definitely be back, but this might be the worst quote I've ever heard. I mean, probably not, just given the fact that I've been alive for 34 years.
Yes.
But this is one of the all-time worst, sound bites ever. Like, this is brutal.
Yeah, no, it's bad. But okay. It's almost impossible to play devil's advocate here because this is a terrible quote.
Okay, devil's advocate here. Let's talk murder versus golf.
Yeah, I mean there is no way. I understand his thought process in the sense that the PGA Tour has had no competitor at all, but in reality, no one has a competitor.
I feel like this is one of those things where you're realizing you're making a mistake as you say it.
Yes, the only sport that has anywhere close to a competitor in a different country. Not including soccer, because we're not the top there. So we're the competitor, but we're not even close to a competitor.
We should talk about that sometime.
Yeah, we should. Which I would say is baseball. because the Japanese league is thought of as a very good league,
and they pay well,
and they pay very well. So does South Korea or Korean league. Because we don't even recognize North Korea as a country.
But quality of baseball way down over there.
It's certainly worse because you're still playing good competition. You're playing good baseball players.
Like so in basketball, if you're like, so for example, my college teammate James Feldine, he's played all over Europe. He's made millions of dollars playing in Europe, and from my understanding, he's famous. And so, I mean, he doesn't make the same money, but he makes great money, and he still probably lives like that lifestyle of being like a famous basketball player. So I think basketball has some comparisons there as well.
Yeah, in Europe, they
not even close
league.
to the same level of play.
No, not even close. But so I certainly can understand the lure to guys to try to have PGA Tour, like, all right, up the purses, up that stuff, because now you have someone that's willing to come in and pay you a ton of money to go play. So I understand the thought process.
Isn't it weird though? Let me ask you this.
You can say this quote just so much better.
Isn't it kind of weird that he's just? I mean, now he's backtracking, but it was just kind of like out of nowhere. There's like screw the PGA Tour, and a lot of the other players were echoing the same sentiment, where they're like, I don't know where this is coming from. And I read some of what he was saying, like why he thought the PGA Tour was screwing up, and it seemed to be more like and I might be wrong on this, but it seemed to be that he was upset that he couldn't like sell like NFTs or some like this new age stuff. Like they have their rights to everything, which I get, but like what are you trying to do with the rights to your images and videos and clips and highlights, which I assume is like, isn't that what like NFTs do, that stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. The thing that's interesting to me about the PGA Tour is that you're not on a team. Like I understand the thought that you don't, like, you're just a golfer invited to play in a tournament that has a big purse.
Right.
Like, I can certainly understand being like, well, why do you own my rights? Like, I understand how you have to pay me to use my images and stuff like that when you're broadcasting, but like, I don't get paid by you. I get paid for winning the tournament in a purse. Like,
this screams collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's ever a union.
I
don't know.
I feel like
I really
there's gotta be.
I don't know. I don't know enough about golf, but I can certainly understand why you're trying to do this. It's just, I mean, this is just as bad of a quote as it gets.
What I was saying was like, it almost feels like there's something else to it to me. Like I don't want to. I mean, I don't want to spread ridiculous stuff. Like he's like caught up in some bad some bad people or something.
Keep in mind, he was an insider trader.
Interesting.
He was back in the day.
So it just feels to me, it feels really out of character. It feels like it felt so out of the blue to me and so weird and like fishy almost that like, and it's just, and so what he's saying is that basically he's saying like, this is all money. Like, just how many zeros is it going to take for me to say these things? And the Saudis were like all set and get whatever you need, my man. And they just, now he's saying these weird things. Like, it almost to me is like, it's just like a choreographed sequence from the Saudis as opposed to like Phil's actual thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly feels out of character. The other thing is, though, it's hard for us to gauge what people's actual views on the like. I can totally see us going golfing with Phil Mickelson and him being like, "Oh God, the PGA Tours, they suck." Like what they, this,
everybody hates their
this,
employer.
So I'm saying, but they do this, they do that, but
right.
No one ever comes out and really talks about it. Like I mean,
but like not even a single other golfer was like, "Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Phil." Everyone was like, "Dude, what are you smoking?"
Well, I mean, you can't. The way he went about this quote, no one can come out and say, "Oh yeah, I totally agree," or "I agree with something." Right. No one can ever say any. There was no PR team out there.
But like, did you see what Rory said back?
Yeah,
I mean, Rory slammed him.
Well, of course, he should be slammed.
Well, agreed. But I think if you had some agreeance with it, like if you can't agree, but you don't have to go that aggressive. You could just say, "Look, I'm not talking about that," or Phil is saying what Phil's saying. I'm committed to the PGA Tour. I'm all set. As opposed to being like, "You are cocky, arrogant." This is crazy. You're talking crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I You don't have to do what Rory did. We don't know the type of person Rory is. This might be his par for his course. But any PR team,
No pun intended.
Yeah, true. Any PR team, you can't even remotely.
No, I agree with that. Of course,
Say anything that's in agreement to this speech, regardless of what you believe. So I mean, Phil comes back, he wins the Masters. That would be.
Are you calling that?
No, I'm not calling that. He's terrible.
He won a major last year.
I know, but
it can happen.
Of course, it can happen. He's still Phil Mickelson, but
Phil Mickelson will be number 1 in the world by May.
True comeback story. True comeback story.
America loves the comeback.
People do love the comeback. They love the comeback.
I think we need to get Phil Mickelson on the couch. He's dropped his sponsor. We're going to put "Sorry We're Closed" on his cap.
Oh my God.
At Augusta.
I think that might be bad for business.
No. Do you know how many people would tune in to the episode? There's no way.
If we got Phil on,
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Real talk. Say we take a loan out of the bank. Phil, $1 million. Sorry, we're closed on your dome for 4 days at Augusta, which that may not cover it. But
no, it might not.
let's say he's
$1 million's a ton of money. It's a ton of money for a hat.
Yeah, I feel I would agree.
They do get paid less.
I would
than
agree.
that.
I would agree. Sorry, we're closed. Listen now, QR code on Zach.
Sorry, Phil. This is all you got now.
Damn it, Phil, wear the hat. Is that ROI positive for Sorry We're Closed? I say yes.
I say yes, probably too.
Tons of listeners. Sponsorships are going to want to be a part of that.
Yeah. I just bet getting a whole
We are electric.
We are electric. Here's the question: is how many podcasts is he getting asked to go on right now? There's certainly people that want him on. All the low podcasts.
We would love to. Phil, we would love to. Phil, this is your official invitation. Phil. Listen, guy. You and I go way back. We made eye contact at the Northern Trust Open last year. You didn't even acknowledge my presence, but I sensed there was something there. Come on, Sorry We're Closed. Come on, Phil. Be realistic. Could you imagine?
No.
We got Phil Mickelson.
As our first guest on the podcast, we got Phil Mickelson.
He said, where do we do this? In my extra bedroom?
Joe Rogan or Sorry We're Closed?
You can sit on my futon.
The Joe Rogan Experience. That's what it's called, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. Well, moving on from Phil. We have another comment.
Great Phil discussion.
We got another comment. Now, this guy particularly, he's a baseball player, loves to be in the media.
Is it Carlos Butt Boy?
No. We can't say that anymore. He's a Boris client. We love him now.
He's wise beyond his years.
Yes, wise beyond his years. We just didn't see it. The forest through
It
the
was
trees.
an orchestrated plan, just elegantly put together.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Well done, sir.
Well done. But this guy loves being in the media. I've had people that I trust say he's a great guy. His social media presence.
Trevor?
No. Can you stop guessing? I can get it. You actually should get it. But I don't think you'll think of him. That's the thing.
I just spent 45 minutes scrolling through Apple News. I can't believe I didn't see this. And I was looking at
happened
sports.
last night. I don't think it's Apple News worthy.
I was on ESPN too. It wasn't front page.
No, it shouldn't be front page. This is a tweet. This is just
keep it rocking.
Yeah. Loves being in the news. People you either hate him or you love him. Apparently, it seems like that. And it seems like the majority of people hate him. These things like this is why people don't like him. Like he just made an entire fan base that he played for hate him.
All right.
Marcus Stroman.
Okay. Is he on the Mets still?
He's no longer in the Mets. He is in Chicago with the Cubs. But he then goes and talks shit about the Mets. He responded to something, I guess, for whoever the Mets hired as their GM, and he said, and I quote, "Just look at who the Mets hired as their GM. That tells you enough. His lack of awareness in his previous position is being exposed to the public now. I am beyond thankful I'm gone from that organization. God got me." So now I don't know who the Mets hired as their GM. I can't remember.
I remember it being. I'm gonna say medium splashy.
Yeah, that's why I told you not front page ESPN.
Yeah.
This is just a tweet.
Yeah.
This is just a tweet. but a guy that loves to be in the news, very clearly, says things like this where he bashes the Mets and whoever they're hiring. Now I don't know what the GM said. Maybe the GM is deserved for the GM. I don't know, but I mean he certainly knows how to burn bridges.
Look, I don't think there's ever a place for tweets, public tweets of that nature.
No, I agree with you. I don't think so either.
I think you instantly become the loser of the situation when you write that, when you tweet that.
Yes, and I agree. The thing is, there is something to be said, and this is like there's drama a lot in the bar industry, and when I get brought into it, I typically don't deal with it. I usually have someone else deal with it if it's even necessary for me to even tell someone. And my motto has always been is I don't have time for that. Like I don't think Marcus should have time for this. He is a very good pitcher, playing for now an historic franchise in Chicago. Like I know it's your personality, and I never want to change a guy because he has had a phenomenal career and probably has a lot to do with his personality. So obviously you never don't change. Like I'm not not that he's gonna listen to me. He'd be like, okay, Pat said I need to change. So
that was very rational, Pat.
Thank
you for shedding some light on this difficult situation.
I will delete my Twitter. But like, I think there's so much more in a power position of saying I just don't have time for that nonsense. That's not just same with like we talk about Rory McIlroy and how aggressive he was on Phil. Oh, that was a nonsense quote. I don't have time for that.
Right.
Like. I like that stuff. I think that is just like I had someone recently in the bar world tell me to handle some situation. I was like, no, and they're like, why not? I was like, because it's nonsense. I don't have time for that nonsense. Right. I'm not dealing with that. What are you kidding me? And so I mean, granted, again, it's his personality is what it is, but I think a lot of athletes should take that motto more because you shouldn't have time for this bullshit.
Yep.
Like the Mets, whoever your former team hired, why tweet that? Why tweet? Oh, thank God I'm gone from that organization. Like why? What do you stand to gain from that?
Well, there's nothing, but I mean, there's what I learned from working in professional sports is that, I mean, like I think at a very fundamental level, it's abnormal to be able to throw a baseball to a mitt, however many feet away that was.
60 feet 6 inches.
Okay, 60 feet 6 inches, and actually hit it there in front of 40,000 people over and over again on national television. Most people get really nervous.
Been there.
And it doesn't work that way. And I always think the same thing about the NBA, where guys make a free throw. Look, you watch the end of Kobe's game, his last game at Staples, where he scores 60 points and he's just drilling free. I mean, can you think about not even the pressure, just the magnitude of the moment of him drilling 2 free throws like nothing, while the whole stadium on your last game ever is chanting your name. You got Snoop Dogg, hyping up the crowd like 40 feet to your right. Look, I don't think it's normal, and my thing has always been you just it's part of the package. Like if you. You take the good with the bad in those situations, and you're going to get very abnormal people who do weird things. You look at even like Kanye West, like look at all the stuff that he does.
He's in the news. Shocking.
I know, but it's like the same thing. Like in order to be able to do the off-the-wall crazy things that he does, like it's just going to come with things that normal people don't agree with, and that's. There's like, and then you just get like the few people like the Tom Brady or the Peyton Mannings who do it, the most beautiful pro way.
That's when people fall in love with him. Although Tom Brady, he seems like a hated figure. Peyton Manning, I don't know anyone that says bad things about Peyton Manning.
He's just a wonderful man. Wonderful man.
I love Peyton Manning. The way he went about his life.
Like, do you ever hear Pat McAfee's like Peyton Manning story about the casino?
I mean, I may have. It doesn't ring a bell. Might as well say it on the pod, though.
He said that they were doing a charity event. I think it was in. I want to say it was in French Lick, Indiana, or Terre Haute, or something like that. That's where French Lick is where Larry Bird is from, and they spent all day golfing at the golf course, and then Pat McAfee was in the casino after the day, and they were all sitting around the table and they were playing roulette, and. he said, like, at the time, like, this was like Peyton's prime. Like, everybody loved, like, it was Peyton Manning, and we were in Indiana. And he's like, when he walked into the casino, like, you could feel it. Like, everybody turned and looked, and it was amazing, right? And so he was sitting there. He was playing roulette. And Peyton, they became friends. He walked up behind him and watched him play a couple spins on the roulette wheel, and and then they went in. Everybody put their bets down, and then Peyton leans in and says, "Hey, how about that red 18?" And then he just leaves, right? And Pat, the way Pat says is amazing. He's like, I looked around at everybody at the table, and it seemed to be that we were all thinking the same thing. And we all took all of our chips and put them on red 18. They threw the ball into the thing, and it landed on red 18, and the place freaking exploded. And I forget what he said. Apparently, he went to the locker room the next day and told him, it's like, dude, it actually became red 18. Like, people won like $300,000 at this thing, and he was just like, yeah, like, how about it? Of course, right? But it's just a great story about Peyton Manning.
Peyton just always had that way about him. It was just like back in the what commercials were they? Was it Geico?
Oh yeah,
Allstate.
No, I wasn't any of those. It could have been Allstate.
Yeah,
but I remember him just being like putting his hand down for people going to work. Oh, you're my favorite accountant. Yes. You're on my fantasy team. He's like such a likable guy.
I know. He's part of that Let's Go Insurance Adjusters. Yes, let's go.
Yes.
Dude, he would those commercials. I mean, he was like the king.
He still is.
Still is. Apparently, the Manning cast is doing great.
Well, I don't know.
He's apparently looking because they Eli came out and said that he was being they were concerned that Peyton might leave the Manning cast. Apparently, he was beloved. People loved it.
Everybody loves Peyton Manning.
Yeah, and people were concerned that he was going to leave. Eli apparently because he's apparently looking to be a part of the Denver Broncos ownership group.
Oh, I did see that.
And according to Eli, there's no concern there. Like, he's 100% in through 2024. But I would give that a shot again last year. Last year we watched the first one and it was kind of weird, and I never watched it again. I would try it again though. If it's beloved, like, I'm gonna give it a shot. Give it a shot. Give it a shot.
I didn't like it. It felt like they were just like shooting the shit.
But maybe it got better. I mean, just like everything, people get better with those types of things, I guess. But Peyton just went about his life in such a his career, I should say, in such a better way. How many Super Bowls did he win? 2? One with Indianapolis, one with Denver.
I believe that to be correct.
And then did he leave after the Super Bowl with Denver?
Yes.
Go on top.
He's my favorite.
Peyton. I love Eli. Eli's got such a dry sense of humor that I think people are kind of seeing now. That I think is really funny. But Peyton's the king.
Peyton is, he's the king. He's got it. He's freaking got it.
He always had it.
He makes like surprise appearances on SNL.
And he's hilarious.
Yeah, he is.
He's absolutely hilarious.
He is.
But I just wish some of the guys would go about their careers that way. But it is such a good point to talk about how you're getting odd dudes. Yeah. You're not getting.
It's not normal to be able to do what they do.
So you're not going to have a normal person up there acting the way you'd like them to. It's just not how life works.
No. And how many of those guys that you play in the big leagues with that are just weird dudes, and they do like odd things.
They do.
You're like, what are you doing? Why would you do that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. But everything in baseball now, I mean, not to change subject, but everything in baseball right now is these CBA talks and negotiations. And I
heard yesterday that Monday is the deadline to start the season on time.
Whatever February 28th is.
Yeah, it's Monday.
So yeah, that's the deadline to start. I think the players are incentivized to push the season off. So I don't know how.
Yeah, it seems that they're not going to get a deal done, based on the 5-minute clip I saw on Pardon the Interruption last night.
Okay, yeah, I mean, there's a video I'm looking at right now of Max Scherzer very animated after the meeting, talking to Tony Clark and all this.
I'm getting a lot of my like old minor league teammates, or not teammates, but like guys I coached who are in the big leagues now. I see them on like on Twitter, just like. First of all, some of them I was like, nobody's listening to you. But a couple of them who are bigger, they're talking about how, there has to be 2 parties to this thing. There's a lot of theater, I'm sure, involved with this kind of process. But I hear they're really far apart on a lot of stuff.
Thing is, if you're not in the room, it's hard for me to take any type of credence in your word and in what you're saying, because I know where you're getting that information from. There's an MLB PAA app that they send out these messages on the latest talks. You're only getting the Players Association side.
Yes.
They're going to tell you, because keep in mind, guys, something to keep in mind here is that these guys that are sending out these notifications on this app are hired by the players. We all pay our dues into them.
Mm-hmm.
They have to make it seem as though there's nothing going on. Now, I'm not saying the players are wrong or the owners are wrong. Both sides are probably wrong in their own ways. But if you're not in the room, like I remember when I was in Pittsburgh, I had guys. I was like, Tony Clarkson is a good guy, and he is a good guy. And all these lawyers are doing whatever the hell they're doing. But there was a player that was sat in the room for these negotiations and said, these guys just give the house away. They sit there, they fight with the owners, and it's like the owners just keep standing their ground because they know eventually the players are going to concede. And it's like, okay, well, if that's the case, then why would you want to yell at the owners for being greedy? Why were you ever going to concede on things when you know the other side's going to?
Oh, yeah.
Like
I'm already rich.
Yeah, if I'm in a negotiation with guys trying to buy a bar, and I know you're selling no matter what, I got some.
Oh, we talked about this yesterday about offering somebody, trying to close a big deal and knowing that you're going to buy, it just may not be today.
Yes, exactly. So it's like, why even wait? Why even wait? Not why even wait. Why concede on anything? All right, now, sorry, this is what I got. And no. I know you're gonna say yes eventually. So sorry, this is my best offer. And so why you're going to do that? And that's seemingly what's going to happening. It seems like, from what I'm reading, and I don't know what you saw in pardon the interruption. Pardon the interruption. Part of my take is Big Cat's thing. But it just seems like each of them are moving very slightly. Very slightly. No one's making a bold move to actually get the negotiation started. Right. And it feels like both sides are waiting for the other to do that. I think the deal gets done for sure. Baseball's not going anywhere. And then all those fans, all these people can save it with saying that baseball is losing fans by the day. You are not there for the business end of it. You are there because you enjoy watching the game of baseball. Once it comes back, guess what, big guy? Unless you're this petty son of a bitch that wants to sit at home and cry to mommy, you're going to turn on your team and watch them. You're not going to be all upset because Max Scherzer was upset that he did this all. You don't care. You're going to go watch his fucking nasty-ass slider because you like the game of baseball. So I hate that. Save it with, baseball's losing fans by the day because they're in the contract talks.
You know what? I'm going to hate baseball by Tuesday if they don't have a deal.
Exactly.
Tuesday at midnight. That's it. Or I hate baseball.
Never watching it again.
I'm switching to bowling.
Yeah, millionaires versus billionaires. I can't believe these people. Only the fans get hurt. Suck a dick. Like it is.
Truly.
Shut up. Let them go do their jobs. This is how labor unions work against the owners. Right. Let them come to an agreement. They will. If there's a strike, there's a strike. Let them come to an agreement. We'll all be happy ever after. You're not in June. What are you gonna watch? The fuck are you gonna watch? What are you gonna? Tell me what you're gonna watch.
The XFL is coming in hot.
Suck one. You're gonna watch your fucking team. You're gonna enjoy it, and you can all go to hell because okay, maybe not go to hell.
Okay, Phil Mickelson over here.
No, don't join the Saudi baseball league. I am not on board with that.
Imagine the Saudis are like, we'll do baseball. We'll do baseball. There's no baseball. We'll do baseball. We'll do baseball. Who wants it? Anybody?
Yes. Football. We're in football too. Whatever you need. But I just don't like that. Woe is me. They should think of the fans. No, they shouldn't think of the fans. Okay, they're gonna go do their business and try to get it done in a reasonable amount of time so the fans don't get hurt. Yeah. But if you guys have to wait 2 weeks for the baseball teams to start playing, wah. They're gonna play. You're still gonna watch them, and you're not losing fans because
you will rejoice the day they return.
Exactly. It's stupid.
I think it blows. I really feel bad for the guys who are low service time guys, who are borderline guys, and like this can really have an effect on their. And I know they're negotiating service time stuff, but those guys who are like, there are missed opportunities for some guys who may not play. The Max Scherzers, they're guys who are going to play a year or two, and you may never get that experience now. And
I mean, it is what it is. But as I think it was, what's the I'm forgetting his name on the top of my head right now. He does all the Lincoln commercials.
Matthew McConaughey.
I'm pretty sure it's Matthew McConaughey in a TikTok that I saw. He starts off the quote out. It's a really nice quote. I think he's making an acceptance speech. Okay. But he starts it off with, "Life's not fair. Life's never going to be fair. Mm-hmm. So get over and get on with it." Yeah. And yes, of course, feel bad for those guys. Like, it does suck. You try to if they end up getting hurt because of this, okay, like, yeah, that does suck. It is what it is. But get over it and get on with it, because this is life. This is how life works.
You got to figure it out.
And if you want to feel bad for yourself, just like I did towards the end of my career, you end up like me. You own bars. Like, you know, you control a lot more than you think you can control.
Well, you really control pretty much everything.
Yes, the fact that the CBA talks are going longer, if you're good enough, you will be in the big leagues. Yeah. It's just the way the world works. I don't know of anyone in my career ever that was good enough to be there and stay there that didn't end up doing that.
We had a guy, I can't remember his name at this point, but he had been in the minors for like 10 years when it was my last year with the Diamondbacks, and they called him up for a spot start. Gosh, I wish I remembered his name. And they called him up for a spot start, and it was a pretty big deal. Like, 10 years in the minors, that's a front page ESPN story. And he was like, it's just a really big moment. And I think probably more so than anything, it's going to be guys like that who are going to get their one shot in the big leagues, and you may never know that shot they lost it, but it's nice to have those opportunities. Regardless, do they play them? Are they playing the minor leagues? I know, like some of my friends who are working in the big leagues, they're going to work with the minor leagues now, like the trainers and strength coaches. Do the minor leagues still continue? Do they still will they have a spring training and games? Because that's not under
not part of the union.
PA.
I don't know. That's a question I just don't know the answer to. I didn't have to deal with this when I was playing. I wasn't there long enough. And I'm pretty sure they did have a labor agreement when I came in, but it already happened. Yeah. So I'm not really sure if the minor leagues continue. I mean, they're not a part of the union.
I feel like they will, unless the owners are salty and there's like nobody can use my facilities.
Yeah, I don't. I have no freaking clue. And you can never know. The agents might be advising those guys not to play. Don't do it. You're
going to be a scab? Let me ask you this.
Okay. Yes. I'm in. Let's play. Let's play. I'm there. I'm going to be horrible, but let's have some fun.
I'm in too, baby.
He probably got some juice left. He's got it's the genetics. Yeah,
I can't throw. My short arm crab ain't gonna fly.
Sean,
I'm DH.
They're getting anyone.
I'm in, baby. Let's go. I'm on the Yankees.
What a turn of events that life.
Sorry, can't. I'm coming to work today. I'm the second baseman for the Yankees.
Even in this situation, you wouldn't be the second baseman, Sean.
What would I be? First baseman?
First baseman. Maybe like a right fielder. You can't now with your arm. Maybe left fielder. They're gonna try to hide your arm. They're gonna try to hide your arm.
How bad is my arm really?
Really bad.
Really?
You just have a big short arm.
I know.
You're a better football player.
I'm very accurate.
Very accurate.
All right, first base.
Yeah.
First base.
Yep.
I'm very scared of ground balls. they used to. I used to go during BP in AA. I would go into like I'd finally after 4 years worked up the courage to go to the infield during batting practice, and I would stare with my heels on the grass, and they would come. I would never put my full body in front of it. I'd always do the scoopy scoop. Oh man, that would be amazing. That would be absolutely.
If you played
amazing.
for the Yankees?
If I,
yeah, sure.
I would be embarrassed. It would be people would be snickering at me on TV.
Okay, here's a question for you. In this scenario, one, we are both the amount of coverage ESPN gives to if I'd played for the Red Sox and I was pitching against you in the Yankees, the amount of coverage because there'd be such bad baseball.
First of all, I wouldn't have any chance of hitting it. I'd just put my bat out straight in play and see if it actually accidentally hits the bat.
It'd be such bad baseball. I think it's like the matchup of the century. It's so bad. Oh man,
that would be unbelievable. I would. They would never ask me. I don't even think they would ask me if there was an. Well, they definitely wouldn't ask me if there was an NBA strike.
There would be plenty of minor leaguers that will be willing to cross the line.
Yes, of course.
There'd be plenty because there's so many guys that know the writings on the wall.
They wouldn't get down to me.
No, they wouldn't get to
you
me.
Might have you might have a shot.
Only because of my age that I'm still young enough.
Yeah. You might have a shot. And you played in the big leagues.
That's true.
They're not going to want to pull up Johnny Lowe.
Johnny Lowe. That's real nice.
Johnny Lowe to At least you got a little sauce in the tank there.
The reason I might have a chance is because they know the deal's eventually coming, and they might not want to ruin a minor leaguer by putting him up too early. So they bring up the old idiot from Hoboken.
What's the guy's name in Rookie of the Year? Rocket. The guy
is that his name?
Yeah, I forget his actual name, but they call him Rocket. And and in the movie, I think the guy had to be 56 years old.
The rookie. Yes.
Yeah, but
yes.
Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year.
Well, I thought Rookie of the Year was the young kid.
It was, but he had like his old salty mentor on the team.
Old salty mentor. Yes.
He had a huge stash.
Yes, I forgot about that guy.
Remember, could you imagine the scene at the end of Rookie of the Year where he immediately from the course of one pitch to the other, he goes from throwing 120 to 46 miles an hour, and his mommy in the stands goes, "Float it," and he does a beer league softball toss to the plate, and the John Kruk looking gentleman was unable to. Yes. Do you know how far they would hit that ball? They would hit that ball from Yankee Stadium to Shea City Field.
Gone.
Absolutely gone.
Oh, my goodness. I forgot about that.
Just float it.
Gosh. If I ever kids watching those stupid movies, Rookie of the Year is not bad. I probably don't like the movie.
Great movie.
It is?
Great.
I haven't watched this as a kid.
Same.
So as a kid, it was
great movie.
As a kid, yeah.
You probably hate it now.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Remember the Double Teamed on Disney where that girl was the female basketball players, the twins, and oh my God, what an elusive move.
Such bad basketball.
And then it was the Luck of the Irish, the
Let's
guy
talk
who
about
became the leprechaun.
I really enjoyed that movie.
It was good until you watched the basketball scenes.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a small Irishman.
Can we talk? I'm glad you brought up women's basketball. This will be the last topic of this podcast.
We're really going to dive into deep one.
Michael Rapport. We both heard it because I watched it in front of you.
I love where this is going. I got a great story.
Michael Rapport, apparently known douche, which I'm a little upset about because I really enjoyed him on Friends.
But he was a douche on Friends too. Remember, he shot the bird outside the window, and that's why
he was
Phoebe
a douche on
Phoebe
Friends.
broke up with him.
I forgot about that. But anyway, Michael Rapport,
yes.
Known enemy of Barstool Sports, recently came out. He had one video recently come out where people were like, "That was obviously fake." Whereas he got hit in the head with a snowball as he was saying something.
Okay.
Did seem fake to me too. But the other thing, this is recently. I think he's. I guess he has a podcast or he's on a podcast. But he came out and said that at 52 years old with whatever diseases he has, and
I remember it was like osteoarthritis.
Yeah, something like that, something crazy. He said that he would make it in the WNBA.
Okay.
If you took me, Michael Rapport, with all my inflammation, my flat feet, ulcerative colitis, bronchiectasis, a chronic cough, and I turned into a woman today, I'm going to be 52 March 20th, and I turned into a woman today. At 52, when my surgery is set, I'm on the hormones, got myself some nice breastises, some long hair. I'm on that Caitlyn Jenner. I guarantee you, and I mean no disrespect to the WNBA, but I guarantee you I can make it in the WNBA today at 52 years old.
Now, me and you are not, we're not very nice to the WNBA every now and again. We believe that at our age, I'm 30, Sean's 34.
Yes.
That, are you 34 or 35?
34.
34. That we could play in the WNBA. However, we're still able-bodied men and very large men at that. I'm 6'5", 245 pounds. You're how big?
6'4", 210.
210. So we're big people. Like at the very least, we're going to be able to body up down low.
Yes.
So we have at least that thought process. Now, this gentleman believes he could compete at the WNBA.
No chance.
And even we who believe that we could just are not on board with it. No. 52 years old.
No, I mean, he's not even going to make it. He'll make it one trip down the court, and you're going to wax him.
Yes, they're extraordinarily in shape.
Yeah.
They're going to run him out of the gym.
They're definitely better than he thinks.
Way better than he thinks. And they're probably stronger than you think, too. They're not probably huge.
There's some big ladies.
There's some big ladies in there.
Some big ladies.
Some big ladies. They're not messing around down low. He is not competing down low. That's the only hope he has.
Yes.
The second hope he has is if he can stand in a corner and hit an open three.
Which that definitely can't happen.
Okay.
He's gonna have to play YMCA ball. You know, like the old man at the YMCA who wears a tank top, always sweaty, and wears goggles.
Yes.
Like he's got to swing the elbows and create space that way. He's gonna be immobile.
Yeah.
There's no way he has any mobility.
No. Because again, at the very least, they're now I will say he did say he could not. He was not going to be a starter. Yes. He was just going to he'd probably be an off the bench guy. Which at least I give you that. At least you were somewhat honest. Yes. But I just know these people. You're talking about 23-year-old, 24-year-old girls who are in ridiculous shape.
They're way better than he
and
thinks.
Unbelievable shooters.
Yeah, and they're. I will say. If you're comparing NBA to WNBA, there's really no comparison. But from WNBA to Michael Rapport, he does not understand how quick they are.
No, he doesn't understand the type of basketball you're playing. I don't think that I could be a guard out there. I probably could be, but
nobody's stopping you.
I could down low. I am just too big of a human being. It just doesn't. This is just physics. Sure. This is just physics. But with him, you just don't stand a chance against these people. They're still professional basketball players.
When I worked for the Lakers, one of my all-time favorite stories. I was sitting in Staples Center pregame one day. Judd Bushler, legendary Chicago Bull, walks into the training room or into the we were in the team room. So I was setting up the pregame meal. And I don't even know how we got on this subject, but he asked me if I thought I would be able to compete in the WNBA. Mm-hmm. And I said, no, I couldn't. I would be the freaking MVP of the WNBA. And it set off this huge team-wide debate. Could Sean, the strength and conditioning coach, be the WNBA MVP? And every person who came into the team room, D'Angelo Russell, Swaggy P, Larry Nance, do you think Sean could be the WNBA? And it was a really stark divide in the team. Luke Walton comes in. Luke Walton did not think that I could be the WNBA MVP. He thought I could be on a team, maybe a starter.
Okay, to be fair, saying you're the MVP is a big claim.
I was adamant that it would be a unanimous decision. Okay,
sounds like you.
Unanimous runaway decision.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I was 28, 29, so definitely a little more agile than I am now.
Yep.
And I remember, we went to the weight room afterwards to work on the guys before the game. It continued there. The debate. Afterwards, after the game, we flew to Boston. And I remember we were staying at the Ritz-Carlton in Boston. And at the team meal the next morning, we're all sitting there. It was a little the trainer's table. And we all sit there and talk about science. And then the players' table, the coaches' table, all that stuff. And I was sitting there eating my bacon, and I heard the players arguing. We're getting heated behind us. And I heard one of this guy, Thomas Robinson, who was one of the best players at Kansas, didn't really do much in the NBA. I heard him go, "No, you don't understand. He played Division I basketball. He's going to be the MVP." And then Lou Williams was like, "No, you don't understand. Maya Moore is so quick." And I was like, Are the actual Los Angeles Lakers right now arguing over whether or not I would be the WNBA MVP? And I turned around to, of course, join the argument, and it was heated. I mean, Meta World Peace was standing up, yelling.
What side was he on?
I think he thought I could do it, but he was my guy.
Yeah.
He was my guy. He had my back. He had my back. Mozgov was all in that I would be the MVP. I'd played Mozgov 1-on-1, so he knew my skill set.
Of course, he knew your skill set.
He knew my skill set. And I remember saying, guys, what you don't understand is that I'm 6'4", 210 pounds, and I'm a monster in that league. And if I rip through and go baseline, who's getting in my way? Who's stopping me? And I think I don't remember what I said, but I had a mic drop moment, and everybody exploded. Everyone was like, "Oh!" And I walked out of. I was like, "I'm never walking back to this room again. I'm gonna take that moment." And the team conceded that I would be. But here's the one caveat: is they actually were trying to set up a practice because the Sparks practiced where we practiced, so they wanted to get me involved in a practice. I was a little nervous about that.
I would be a little nervous about that.
I needed to get in shape.
Okay, so that's definitely a caveat. You had to get in shape.
I was eating a lot of chocolate and bacon.
They would run you out of the gym in the beginning. The other thing is,
I would be dominant for 4 possessions and then be gassed.
yes, and so that's the other thing that needs to be talked about here, because we're not just saying just because Sean's a male that he'd be the MVP. That's definitely a big position of it because you're a big man.
Right.
But the other thing is that because you played at a high level,
I'm a very good basketball player.
as you played at a high level of basketball, you also understand the basketball IQ.
Yes. Michael Rapport did not.
No. So, and that's the thing is like you can't just be a big brawny guy that's going to be able to just muscle his way through this. The basketball IQ of these girls is eventually, next thing you know, you're fouled out of the game.
Yes.
They're taking charges on you when you rip through to the baseline if you don't have the IQ to know that.
Yes.
Like, you have to have basketball IQ
Yes.
in order to just not be a freaking moron.
I think that if I were to play in the WNBA, I think that I would be – I think if I got myself into shape – I had to whip my Achilles into shape. That's a problem for me right now.
That's also staying healthy.
Yeah, staying healthy would be a problem. I think I would be surprised at how good that they are, but I'm not.
I think you're trying full steam. You have to try full steam.
Oh yeah.
It's not going to be one of those situations where you can coach through the league.
No.
Yeah, you have to be full send.
Yeah. No, and I'm going to have the full utilization of my size.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm a post player.
Yeah,
I'm not,
I also think you.
I'm an electric wing post.
I also
player.
think you like it. You can't. I don't think you can go on the worst team in the NBA. And beat. I think you need to have solid teammates around you.
You're saying I can't go on the worst WNBA team and still be the MVP?
I think it's.
I don't know that I'm leading anybody to victory.
Well,
I'm very
if you're gonna be the
selfish basketball.
You're going to be the MVP. You better be.
My team would probably be undefeated.
I just think
But they only play like 30 games. I could do that.
Wow, that's not a lot of games.
Yeah, I think they upped it this year to like 36.
Okay, I think you need some solid role players around you.
Like who? Name one.
Diana Taurasi.
That
She's
is
the
not a
MVP.
solid. She's the greatest player of all time.
Maya Moore, second greatest player of all time. I do. I think you need some solid role players around you in that type of in a league.
I would sign with the Phoenix Mercury.
Okay.
They're the best. I think they were second best last year.
Okay. Well, I do. I just think you need. I think you need some solid role players around you.
It would be helpful because I'm going to be gassed.
And you're also going to get to a certain point where you have now 5 phenomenal women athletes that are going to just be focused on you to not score. That's for anyone that's difficult.
I'm not as adamant as I was back then about being the MVP, just because I know that I can barely jump. And I think I'd be like I'd have to load manage even in a 36 game season.
Yes. I would agree with that. I think you do very well. I think you're the best player on your team.
What's the coverage like for that?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I mean, that'd be so wrong. I mean, we're gonna put this guy in the league. They're getting terrible ratings. We're gonna put this old 34-year-old who barely played in college.
Is there a way for WNBA to reach a really good level of audience?
I think that there's something there because there are UConn and Tennessee and South Carolina. They have good followings. They have good backings. So I think that there's something there, but I'm not.
How do you get there?
I mean, why do those three schools have such great backing? Is it because of like the tradition? Like South Carolina is relatively new, but UConn and like everybody, you go to UConn and you're like, it's the women. Like we're so good. Mm-hmm. It's like it's not even like we have a great women's team. It's like we literally can't help but win games. Like it's when we try.
Here's a question: markets. You're in. Well, I don't know what town you're in. UConn.
They just came out.
You're gonna watch the Knicks or the Liberty. You're gonna go watch the Knicks,
of course.
When you're competing in that market, you could go to a market that's a smaller city, but a city that you're not competing in.
Well, they took a lot of the teams. So I know the Liberty play at Madison Square Garden, but they also play at like Westchester Civic Center.
Yes, I know that.
And I think that that's a valuable move. I don't think like the stores market is craving women's basketball.
Well, UConn's just really freaking good.
And I think you have the allegiance and there's more pride of college. You know,
there certainly is.
So I definitely think then you get the students involved. Yeah. Like that's cool. I know that there was just I think it was the Notre Dame coach or maybe the LSU coach for women's basketball was talking about how they can improve like I think the women's Final Four had like 4,000 fans, or maybe Sweet 16 game or something had like 4,000 fans. They were like, this crazy, and it's not like, don't try to force it on Indianapolis to bring people in. Like, go to the places where it's already kind of a big deal. They wanted to like host them on campus and stuff like that, which I think is I think it's a solid idea.
I do.
You know, and then they were saying like they think that just hosting like they did last year, where everything is in one city, they thought that might be a possibility, which I think is a fair thought. I do. I think that there's something there. There are fans that like it. Yeah, I think generally speaking, it will never have the appeal of. I think you're right. Of men's sports. Which honestly, I think it does suck. I think that's kind of. I mean, I would hate that. But look,
it's just human nature.
It's the way humans are. Yeah, exactly.
Nothing you can do about that.
I know Shaq said they should lower the rims.
I understand what you're saying.
Even then, it's still not going to be the same.
No, because they still can't jump that. Like, they can't be high
It's not going to be electric.
Yeah,
dunks.
you'd have to put like 6-foot rims.
Well, that would be redundant. How demeaning would that be?
I'm saying, but
we're gonna lower the rims 4 feet for you.
It's just because they just can't. They're not like, we love watching it because it's high flyers. It's not that necessarily they're dunking. It's just that you just see them go so high in the air. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, and like the high flying acrobatics. And stuff like that.
You like, even if them dunking is not the reason we like it.
No,
it's the craziness that they're doing.
And the physicality. Like why is football such a big deal? And it's because we love seeing guys just beat the hell out of each other, you know, and there's less of that in the WNBA. It's just whatever. I don't like knocking the WNBA, except when I say that I would be the best player in the league. I don't know about now, but probably.
Oh, how nice of you. Well, now, but probably still, yeah.
Almost certainly would be the MVP. But I genuinely believe that there's a way to get there. But it's just so commercialized. Like Connecticut, the Connecticut Sun, they play at Mohegan Sun. I bet they even put that there because it's close to stores, and they thought that they might be able to do that. Maybe less teams. I don't know how many. Like when I was at West Virginia, our women's basketball team was like a top 15 team, and nobody showed. Even when UConn came, nobody showed up to the games. At Quinnipiac, they went to the Sweet 16. The women's team went to the Sweet 16 a couple years ago, which is mind-blowing.
Yeah, that is mind-blowing.
And they get a couple thousand, but they have an arena. The arena there is like 3,500 people, and it looks a lot better. It's maybe you play in arenas like that. Maybe. I mean, the most electric sporting events I've ever been to were CBA games, high school basketball. Something to be said for that.
I agree with you. I think there's something to be said like that. What we try to do with social media and stuff like that is just getting in front of more eyeballs to find the people that like you, and. Like there isn't a way to do this probably, but like if you could do like some type of different tournament where you combine the best players of each NBA teams in the city and the women's the WNBA,
like a co-ed tournament.
Yeah, then you just do, but then all of a sudden now the NBA fans are watching this league, and now all of a sudden people that don't normally like Maya Moore like goes off because she's a phenomenal shooter.
Yeah.
Maya Moore goes off in a league. And next,
so it's kind of like having a guest on your podcast.
Yes.
You like siphon the audience.
And now all of a sudden you're like, wow, that was actually really fun to watch. You see Maya Moore just drill that on Devin Booker.
I actually used to,
and all of a sudden like, wait, is Maya Moore like really legit? And then people go watch Maya Moore play, and they watch her shit on some other team in the WNBA, and you're like, this is not that bad of watch. You just need to get in front of more eyeballs. Like, I'm not even giving the WNBA a shot. I just don't care. But like, if you did like a tournament where people got behind their city. There isn't a way to do this because no one. You have to extend the season, and the NBA players and WNBA players aren't going to do that.
We're absolutely not going to do this.
They're not going to do that. But if there was I think trying to find a way to get in front of more eyeballs like that, I think would be helpful.
There's a lot of logistics and things to talk about.
Like putting the I'd hate to say this. I don't want to, but I'm going to. WNBA almost like.
Pick a side.
I'm not gonna say how I'm gonna phrase it. We're not gonna phrase it like that. But the WNBA game, play the WNBA game. The thing is, different owners probably, but play the WNBA game before the NBA game. Have they done it before?
No, but I know exactly how you wanted to phrase that.
Yes, and play them beforehand, and like a discounted ticket for the game if you come watch the WNBA game.
Yeah, I remember.
But you might have a good crowd for that game.
Get some early show. I I remember specific situations like that.
Yes. So what I'm saying is, like, you do those things because you just want to get more people to watch them, so that you get more and more fans be like, oh, I take an interest in this.
Yeah.
Like, you never know. You don't know, but you need more people to come watch the games, and you got to find. It's a business. You got to find more eyeballs. I don't think they do a good enough job with it, personally. But
yeah, I think that they try in the wrong ways. I think that they try to they get like Kyrie Irving on a commercial to be like,
yeah, stupid.
These are the best basketball players.
Yeah.
You're like, okay,
no. And we know
but-
any rash person knows you're the best women
and
basketball
they just
player.
paid you money to sit there and say
it's
this.
stupid. You just need to have what they are, and
Look, it is what it is.
the NBA is the draw right now. Find a way to do something where they bring the eyeballs and you perform so that people like. Just like we try to do the podcast, we try to get more new people to watch it and give us a chance. And if they like it, they stay.
Well, certainly no women will be watching at the, at the end.
It's all right.
At the
I've seen our
end.
analytics. We're not many women are listening, Sean.
Do you know what the best part about this podcast is, though? Is that every single gentleman listening right now is wondering how good they would be in the WNBA.
Yes, and also wondering, could Sean really be the MVP?
They're YouTubing highlights to which they will find nothing.
Nothing.
The answer is yes. The answer is firmly yes.
Well, on that note, phenomenal podcast, Sean.
Look, this is maybe our best work, our finest work yet.
Until next time, folks. We'll see you later.
Sorry, we're closed.